Chosen one, there have been seasons in your life where silence felt louder than any voice, where shadows seemed to grow longer, and where the presence of support was nowhere to be found. You stood alone, not because you desired solitude, but because life left you with no other option. There were battles you could not share with anyone, struggles that no one else could comprehend, and tears that flowed in rooms where no comfort came. Yet even in those loneliest hours, you were never unseen. The eyes of the universe, the whispers of the divine, and the presence of something greater than yourself were fixed on you. Every cry in the dark was heard, every burden you carried alone was witnessed, and every small step forward was celebrated in realms beyond what you could see. Chosen one, loneliness has a way of shaping the soul. It strips away illusions, it tests endurance, and it builds foundations that cannot be shaken. While others found their strength in crowds, you were forced to discover yours in silence. While others leaned on constant reassurance, you learned how to pull courage from the very depths of your being. While others were carried, you had to crawl, stumble, and bleed your way forward. And because of this, your resilience has become extraordinary. The world may not have understood it, but heaven itself was impressed. For every time you stood alone, you proved that strength is not measured by applause, but by persistence. Think about those nights where the weight felt unbearable, the thoughts that told you no one cared, the fears that whispered you were invisible, the moments where your own reflection felt like your only companion. Even then, you were not abandoned. Being unseen by people does not mean being unseen by purpose. The truth is, chosen one, you were standing in training grounds that only a few ever experience. You were being forged in fire, not to break you, but to refine you. And though you stood alone, the reality is, you were accompanied by forces far greater than human eyes. You were watched, protected, guided, and strengthened by a higher calling that knew exactly what it was doing. Chosen one, solitude has marked you, but it has not diminished you. Instead, it has carved wisdom into your bones, courage into your heart, and resilience into your spirit. Those who stand alone develop sight others do not have. You learn to notice the small signals, to read the unspoken energy in a room, to hear the whispers that others ignore. Standing alone sharpened your vision. Being never unseen confirmed your value. You may not realize it yet, but what you have endured in silence has prepared you for the visibility that is now approaching. Your time of hidden endurance is shifting into a season where your story will inspire and your presence will shine. Chosen one, this is only the beginning of the message you are meant to hear. You stood alone, but you will not remain misunderstood. You were never unseen, and soon the world will witness what heaven has always known, that you are chosen, not because of what you had, but because of who you became when you had nothing. The very struggles that made you feel invisible will one day be the testimony that makes you unforgettable. Chosen one, before we go deeper, I want you to pause and really feel the power of this moment. This message did not appear in your life by accident. It was drawn to you. That's why I invite you to watch this message until the very end, because there are powerful reminders and special words waiting for you that will shift the way you see your journey. And right now, I encourage you to take part in something bigger. Write your most sincere wishes in the comments below and seal them with the number 777. This act is not random. It is manifestation. It is faith in motion. It is you releasing energy into the universe so that blessings can return multiplied. Do not underestimate it. And if you haven't already, subscribe. Because this space is not just a channel. It's a gathering place for the chosen. A place where we rise together, send energy into the world, and keep each other lifted when life feels heavy. Chosen one, the reason you are being asked to do this is because you have carried so much alone. You stood alone in moments that would have crushed others, and you survived battles no one even knew you were fighting. Yet even in those moments, you were never unseen. The spiritual realm, the universe, God, whatever name you call upon, saw you. They were watching, not with indifference, but with awe, because you chose to keep walking even when your legs trembled. You chose to keep believing even when doubt was louder. You chose to stay standing even when everything told you to collapse. That persistence is why you are still here, and why this message has found you. Chosen one, it is not easy to endure isolation. The world often confuses solitude with weakness, but solitude has been your strength. While others hid behind crowds, you faced the silence head-on. While others needed validation, you learned how to validate yourself. While others only knew how to fight with an audience, you learned how to fight in secret, without applause, without recognition, without reward. And that is exactly why you are so powerful now. Because no matter how alone you felt, you were never unseen. The very moments you thought were wasted were the exact moments that built the strength you carry today. Chosen one, the truth is that your life has never been small, even when it looked like no one noticed. Every tear you cried, every late-night prayer, every whispered hope, it was all recorded, all remembered, all treasured in realms beyond what you can see. You may have been ignored by people, but you were never ignored by purpose. You may have been unseen by the world, but you were always seen by destiny. That is why you survived. That is why you kept going. That is why you are being told now. Your journey has been witnessed. Your strength has been acknowledged. And your breakthrough is closer than you realize. Chosen one, let this sink deeply into your heart. Standing alone has not diminished you. It has elevated you. Being never unseen has not limited you. It has marked you for greatness. You were chosen because you could endure what others could not, and you proved it again and again, even when no one applauded, even when no one encouraged you. And now, because of that endurance, the universe is shifting things in your favor. What once felt like hidden struggle is about to become visible victory. The eyes that once overlooked you will have no choice but to notice you. The same silence that once hurt you will become the stage where your voice is heard. Chosen one, the hardest part of your journey has never been the external battles. It has always been the loneliness. You know what it feels like to stand in a crowded room and still feel invisible. You know the ache of giving your all to people who could not give even half back to you. You know the silence of nights where you cried into your pillow and no one came to check on you. Yet even in all of that, you endured. You stood alone when no hand reached to lift you. And while people may have failed to notice, you were never unseen. Every tear was counted, every breath of determination was recorded, and every moment of courage was witnessed by something far greater than you could ever imagine. Chosen one, many misunderstand the power of solitude. They think it is punishment, when in reality, it is refinement. When you stood alone, the distractions fell away. You were forced to face yourself, to hear your own thoughts, to wrestle with your deepest fears. And though it was painful, it also built within you a strength that cannot be bought, copied, or taken away. Standing alone stripped you of illusions, but it also revealed your truth. It showed you that you are capable of surviving without constant validation. It showed you that you are stronger than rejection, stronger than abandonment, stronger than silence. That strength is what makes you unshakable today. Chosen one, even when no one applauded, you kept moving. Even when no one believed in you, you believed enough to try again. Even when the world overlooked your worth, you carried yourself with dignity. That kind of resilience does not go unnoticed. In realms beyond human eyes, you were seen every step of the way. The nights you whispered your pain, the days you forced a smile when your heart was breaking, the moments you wanted to quit but chose to continue. These are the very reasons you have been marked. You did not stand alone for nothing. You stood alone because you were being prepared for a visibility that could only come after hidden endurance. Chosen one, it is easy to believe that being unseen means being unloved or forgotten. But the truth is the opposite. Being unseen by people was protection. It kept you hidden until you were strong enough to be revealed. It shielded you from premature exposure, from environments that would have drained you, from people who would have used you before you knew your worth. You were never unseen in the ways that matter most. You were covered, watched over, guided, even when you could not feel it. That is why you are still here. That is why you survived storms that others did not. That is why your story carries so much power now. Chosen one, the time you spent standing alone has not been wasted. It has been recorded, treasured, and prepared for a season of unveiling. You are about to step into spaces where your presence cannot be ignored. The strength you built in secret will become the strength that inspires others. The wisdom you gained in solitude will become the wisdom that guides those who are lost. The resilience you formed in isolation will become the testimony that proves to others that they too can endure. Your story is not just about surviving loneliness. It is about proving that even in the silence, you were never truly unseen. Chosen one, take this truth into your spirit. Your journey has been extraordinary, not in spite of your solitude, but because of it. You walked through shadows others could not survive. You carried weights others could not bear. And you remained standing when everything tried to bring you down. That is why you are chosen. Not because you had an easy path, but because you endured the hardest one and still emerged with light in your eyes. You stood alone, but your destiny has always been witnessed. And now, the time is coming when the world will see what heaven has always known, that you were never unseen. Chosen one, you have walked through fire that few could endure, and you did it with no hand to hold, no voice to reassure you, no shoulder to lean on. You stood alone when storms raged against you, when life seemed determined to break you, when silence became your only companion. And yet, you were never unseen. Every moment of your endurance was observed. Every ounce of your resilience was acknowledged, and every silent victory was celebrated in realms beyond your understanding. What you thought was abandonment was actually elevation. What felt like loneliness was training ground for greatness. Chosen one, standing alone forged a strength in you that crowds could never give. People may offer applause when it is easy, but solitude builds character when it is hard. You learned to rise without an audience, to persevere without recognition, to carry yourself with dignity even when no one noticed. That kind of discipline is rare, and it is why you have been chosen. While others crumbled under pressure, you grew. While others begged for shortcuts, you endured the long path. While others needed validation, you became your own source of encouragement. And though it was painful, it transformed you into someone unstoppable. Chosen one, many who once overlooked you will not understand the glow you carry now. They will wonder how you remained strong after all you faced. They will question how you are still standing, still believing, still moving forward. The answer is simple. Because even though you stood alone, you were never unseen. A higher power was watching, guiding, strengthening you in ways you did not even realize at the time. You thought you were surviving by chance, but you were surviving by purpose. Every lonely night was preparation. Every unanswered prayer was alignment. Every step forward, no matter how small, was proof that you were walking in destiny. Chosen one, solitude taught you lessons that nothing else could. You discovered how to trust your intuition, how to hear your inner voice, how to discern truth from deception. You learned patience, not because you wanted to, but because you had no choice. You learned courage, not because you felt fearless, but because you acted in spite of fear. You learned perseverance, not because the journey was light, but because you chose to keep walking in darkness. These qualities were not accidental. They were planted in you because you were chosen to carry them. And now, you are stronger, wiser, and more radiant than you realize. Chosen one, do not despise the season where you stood alone. It was not a punishment, it was protection. It shielded you from the wrong voices, from the wrong paths, from the wrong people. It kept you hidden until you were strong enough to handle the visibility that is now unfolding. What once felt like isolation was actually incubation. You were being refined in secret, so that when the time came, you would emerge unshakable, undeniable, and unforgettable. Being unseen by people did not mean being unseen by purpose. You were always visible to the ones who mattered most. Chosen one, as you look back, remember this truth. Your story is not one of abandonment, but of preparation. You were never truly alone, even when it felt that way. You were never unseen, even when no one acknowledged you. And because of that, your future carries a weight that cannot be denied. The same strength that sustained you in silence will elevate you in visibility. The same endurance that kept you alive in shadows will make you shine in the light. The same resilience that was tested in solitude will now inspire those who are watching. Chosen one, lift your head and take courage. You are proof that standing alone does not mean being forgotten. You are proof that solitude does not equal weakness. You are proof that unseen battles create visible victories. And soon, the world will recognize what heaven has always known, that you stood alone, yet you were never unseen. Chosen one, you have carried weights that would have crushed others, and you carried them without a crowd cheering you on. You stood alone in battles that no one else even knew existed, and yet you kept moving forward. What others saw as silence was actually the sound of you being shaped. What others mistook as invisibility was actually divine protection. You were never unseen, not for a single moment. Every step you took in the dark was noticed. Every tear you cried in solitude was acknowledged. Every time you held yourself together when everything tried to tear you apart, heaven took note. Your story has always mattered more than you realized. Chosen one, there is something extraordinary about those who endure seasons of solitude. The ones who can survive without recognition are the ones who cannot be shaken when recognition finally comes. You did not need applause to keep going. You did not need validation to keep believing. You did not need an audience to stand tall. That is what makes you rare. That is what makes you powerful, and that is why you are chosen. You stood alone, not because you were forgotten, but because you were being prepared. The hidden season was never about punishment. It was about preparation. Chosen one, think of all the times you wanted to quit, but didn't. Think of all the times the pain felt unbearable, but you decided to keep breathing, to keep walking, to keep hoping. Those were not wasted moments. They were deposits of strength being built into your soul. They were lessons carved into your spirit. They were reminders that even when you stood alone, you were still moving forward. And because you refused to collapse, you are still here, stronger, wiser, deeper. You are living proof that solitude is not the end of a story. It is the foundation of greatness. Chosen one, never forget this. People may have overlooked you, but you were never unseen. Even in silence, you were surrounded. Even in darkness, you were guided. Even in loneliness, you were protected. That presence you felt when you had no one else, that was the universe. That was the divine. That was purpose itself reminding you that you were not abandoned. Every unseen battle was a lesson. Every hidden victory was a breakthrough. Every lonely night was proof that your story was still being written. Chosen one, solitude has sharpened you. It taught you resilience. It gave you vision. It built your courage. It removed the noise of the world so you could hear the whispers of your calling. It stripped away the superficial so you could recognize what truly matters. And while you may not have enjoyed those seasons of standing alone, they have left you stronger than you ever imagined. That strength is not temporary. It is permanent. It is now part of you, and it will carry you into every new season with confidence. Chosen one, soon others will see what solitude built in you. They will wonder how you carry yourself with such peace, how you walk with such authority, how you glow with such resilience. They will not know the nights you endured, the tears you hid, the storms you survived alone. But you will know, and you will smile, because you understand the truth. You stood alone, yet you were never unseen. And that truth will give you a power that no recognition can give, and no rejection can take away. Chosen one, be encouraged. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are exactly where you are meant to be. Your solitude was not wasted. It was working for you all along. And now, because you stood alone and were never unseen, you are ready to step into the next level of your destiny. Chosen one, you may not realize it yet, but the moments where you felt the most forgotten were the exact moments where your story was being written the loudest. You stood alone when friends drifted away, when family didn't understand, when support was nowhere to be found. You stood in silence, carrying burdens no one else even knew existed. And yet, though you stood alone, you were never unseen. The very fact that you are here today is proof of it. If you were truly invisible, you would not have survived. If you were truly forgotten, you would not still be rising. Every second of your survival was recorded, and every ounce of your courage has meaning. Chosen one, being unseen by people was not a curse. It was protection. There are doors you never walked through because they would have harmed you. There are relationships that fell apart because they would have drained you. There are opportunities that didn't work out because they were not aligned with your destiny. At the time, it felt like rejection, but it was really redirection. You thought you were standing alone, but in reality, you were being hidden until the right moment. And in those hidden years, heaven itself kept watch over you. You were never unseen, because your life has always been too valuable to be ignored by destiny. Chosen one, solitude shaped you into someone different. While others needed validation to feel secure, you built security within yourself. While others broke under pressure, you built endurance in the dark. While others lived for applause, you learned how to keep moving without any noise at all. And now, because of those lessons, you walk with a strength and authenticity that cannot be faked. That is why people notice you now, even when you say little. They sense the depth of someone who has stood alone, and they feel the weight of someone who has always been seen by something greater. Chosen one, remember the countless nights where you whispered prayers no one else heard. The mornings you forced yourself out of bed when it felt impossible. The days you carried yourself with dignity, even when you were breaking inside. Those moments were not wasted. They were building a foundation inside you, layer by layer. And though the world ignored those seasons, you were never unseen. Every hidden effort is part of why you will shine so brightly when the light is finally turned on you. Chosen one, the reason you feel different is because you are different. You have walked paths others were too afraid to take. You have endured trials others would have run from. You have remained standing when others would have collapsed. That is why you are chosen. Not because your life was easy, but because your strength proved itself when everything was hard. You stood alone, yes, but you were never unseen. The universe took note. Destiny marked you. Purpose followed you. And now, what once felt like isolation will soon be revealed as preparation for greatness. Chosen one, let this be your encouragement. Your story is not about being abandoned. It is about being refined. You are not the sum of who left you. You are the sum of who you became when they left. You are not the result of rejection. You are the result of resilience. And resilience cannot be ignored. It radiates. It speaks before you even open your mouth. It inspires without effort. That is why your life will continue to impact others, even when you do not try. Because people see the glow of someone who has stood alone, and they feel the undeniable truth of someone who was never unseen. Chosen one, stand tall in this season. The solitude behind you was never wasted. It was sacred. It set you apart. It built your character, and it positioned you for what is coming. You are living proof that you can walk through darkness and still carry light. You are living proof that being unseen by people does not mean being unseen by destiny. And now, as you rise, you carry with you a story that cannot be denied. You stood alone, yet you were never unseen. Chosen one, think about how many times you felt completely alone and yet something deep inside whispered, "Keep going." You stood alone in places that could have broken you, but they did not. You faced rejection, silence, and even betrayal, yet you still carried yourself with strength. That is the mark of the chosen. You were refined in fire, not destroyed by it. And though it looked like no one was paying attention, you were never unseen. The invisible victories, the silent tears, the battles no one knew about, they were all noticed by the unseen realms that guide your destiny. Chosen one, there is power in knowing that solitude never meant abandonment. It meant preparation. Your life was being aligned in ways you could not see, and your pain was shaping a story that will inspire countless others. You stood alone, but you were being shaped into someone who could walk with authority and authenticity when the time came. And that time is now. The glow you carry is undeniable. The strength you radiate is unshakable. And the wisdom you speak is unforgettable. None of it would exist if you hadn't endured what you did. Chosen one, take this as a reminder. Your hidden battles were never wasted. They became the foundation for your future. You are not invisible. You are chosen, and the world will soon see the proof of it. Chosen one, as this message comes to a close, let these words rest deeply in your spirit. Everything you endured in silence, everything you carried alone, everything you thought no one noticed, it was never wasted. You stood alone when life gave you no other option, but you were never unseen. The universe, the divine, the unseen forces that guide your steps, were with you every single moment. They saw the tears that never left your room. They heard the prayers that never left your lips. They felt the weight that bent your shoulders. And instead of letting it break you, they used it to shape you. Today, you are living proof that even the loneliest seasons can produce the strongest souls. Chosen one, solitude taught you lessons no classroom could teach. It showed you that you could survive without constant reassurance, that your value does not depend on the attention of others, and that your strength does not fade just because it goes unnoticed. Standing alone forced you to discover parts of yourself that would have remained hidden if life had been easier. That discovery is your gift. It is why you carry wisdom beyond your years, courage deeper than your scars, and a glow that cannot be faked. People will look at you now and see strength, but only you will know that strength was born in the moments where you felt invisible. Chosen one, you are stepping into a season where your story will inspire others. The battles you fought in silence will become the very testimony that awakens hope in people who feel forgotten. Your ability to endure will give courage to those who are ready to quit. Your resilience will remind others that even when you stand alone, you are never truly unseen. You are proof that purpose always watches, destiny always remembers, and the unseen always prepares those it has chosen. Chosen one, take this truth and let it become your anchor. You are not rising by accident. You are not shining by coincidence. You are here because you endured what others could not. And now, you are being positioned where your presence will matter more than ever. Do not look back with regret. Do not look around with fear. Look forward with confidence, because the same power that sustained you in solitude is the same power that will elevate you in visibility. You stood alone, yes, but you were always being prepared to stand tall in front of the world.